Everyone, welcome to the Truuu Talk podcast. This is episode 27. Yeah, man, 27 episodes. Can you believe it? And I said it every single week, and I'll say it next week as well. I'll be like, this is episode 28 weeks, but this is episode 27. Now, as always, we are joined by the Truuu Talk First Lady, Miss Chitty. Miss Chitty Bang Bang.
Of course. Love, always. Namaste.
A man who needs no introduction, Mr. Truuu Talk himself, Mr. Ashley. Show. Our very own band to bring up Miss Milan, Miss Millie Rock.
Hey.
And of course, we've got loudmouth Dom over there, who doesn't keep quiet ever. Even in the introduction, he doesn't want to shut up. And of course, myself, DJ Sticky Fingers.
The one and only.
The one and only. Don't you forget that. Now,
come on, put your ones up.
So this week, two topics we've got. The first one, which is actually quite a good, interesting one, actually, very deep topic, is when is it a good time to discuss the reproductive system with your child? Let's talk about sex, basically, right? And is it okay to be romantically involved with someone else if you're in a relationship but on a break? Do you know those people that are on a break? For those of you who watch Friends, Rachel and Ross, they're on a break. Is it okay to be romantic with somebody else during that period? That's the second topic, right? So, first topic, Chids, we're going to kick off with you. When is it a good time to discuss the reproductive system or sex with your child?
Okay, so I have a 12-year-old daughter. She started her period at a very early age. She was 10. And obviously, a year before, you kind of know when you see your child's development, you see their growth and stuff. So I thought, when she was about 9, I thought, oh, do I have that chat now? Or like, when do you do it? In my personal experience, I just believe that there is no specific age. There's never a right or wrong time. Because with her, when she was 9, obviously I had to talk to her about periods. And I said, this is what's going to happen. You're a young woman, X, Y, Z. But then obviously when she did eventually start her period at the age of 10, she had questions. And I know that in school, they started talking about the reproductive system. They didn't go in, but they started giving them the certain bits of information. But children are children. Like if anyone's child is like my child, she's very inquisitive. She wants to know everything. It's always why, what's that? She'll do her research to get me. So I sat her down and I spoke to her about it. But for me, I was just like, oh my God, I have to tell my baby about certain things. I don't think I'm quite ready. She actually turned around and she could see that I was making it awkward for myself. I was making it uncomfortable, do you get me? Because I just wasn't, in my mind, I wasn't ready. And she actually said to me, Mum, don't make it awkward. Don't make it difficult, because then it's going to make it awkward for me. And it's a fact of life. Shouldn't make those things awkward. So I was like, raw, this 10-year-old's putting me in my place, you get me? She's telling me about myself. So I had to take that on board, take a deep breath, and I asked her, I said to her, what do you know? And then she smiled and she told me, obviously bits of what she knew. I knew she knew more, but obviously I elaborated on it, innit? And I just explained certain things to her, how a woman has a baby, what the whole the reproductive system is within a woman, how it works for a man. And you just got to be honest with them. You've got to be as open as you can without... It's hard because whether you give them lots and lots and lots of information or not, they're going to find out. Especially in this generation, they've got the internet, they've got Google. They're going to type sex in Google and all kinds of madness is going to come up. So you've just got to mentally prepare them for what they're going to learn and what they're going to find out. And it was the whole process. It was hard for me as a mum. But then I think I obviously did that to myself. Do you get me? And all I can say to anyone is just to be honest, to find out what they know and just decide what parts you want to tell them about. Just decide how you want to discuss it. Yeah, it's a crazy one. It is actually a crazy one, but you just got to be honest with your child because they know more than they let on. So.
Yes, definitely deep. A lot of stuff in there. That I said I like that when you said about your daughter, say making it uncomfortable or making it weird for her as well. I mean, yeah, I don't envy anyone who has to go through that conversation. Ash, when you think it's the right time to talk about the reproductive system or talk about sex basically with kids, when is the right time, right age? A bit more specific.
Listen, I ain't gonna lie, I'm still stuck on the anomaly. It's not even an anomaly because it makes sense. They're gonna type in sex on Google. That's crazy. I didn't even thought of that. I thought of that, but I never even thought of that. Do you get it? Like that's mad, isn't it? It's mad, isn't it? I'm making sure my daughter don't have no phone. Forget it. You get me? That phone thing is done. It's over. It's finished. So type in sex on Google. So they don't have to type it. They just gotta say it. Sex. It's long. I'm stressing now. I'm stressing. I can't even think of a good time, bro. This is what I'm saying. I posed the question not because I have a answer, but because I genuinely want to know. Like, you get me? And obviously, my daughter's 7, so I know it's not now. Do you get what I'm saying? But I know it's like I asked my dad, yeah, and my dad said to me, "It's when it's on the horizons." Basically, he said you tell them about it when they're gonna be stumbling across it. So he's like he was saying, when girls start their period, that's when you got to tell them about the reproductive system. And when boys start getting a little moustache and start hitting puberty and them kind of things, that's when you have to start talking to them about it. And that was the best answer I've had so far. You get me? Because it's kind of like, it's not about the age necessarily. It's about the right timing and being observant, like, of what stage they're at in life, rather than what age to kind of start discussing it. But it's mad because my daughter's 7 now, and she will still ask me questions that I don't want to chat shit about. Like, I don't want to be like, yeah, babies come from stalks, and you get me? And these times she knows that women get pregnant and that. How do women get pregnant? Like, when's dad? How do women get pregnant? She can ask me that now. I don't want to tell her some bullshit story. Like, do you get what I'm saying? But I just don't know how to put it in a way that's like suitable for her age group. Do you get what I'm saying?
But I do have one challenge to that though. So you're talking about when like they start showing visible signs of changing. Remember, everyone changed at different ages, isn't it? So where Chidi said her daughter was 10, so that's in my eyes, it's still very young. But another child might have been 15, and then you're saying that's a big gap to have not said something when someone starts really early and someone might start really late.
I'm not saying that's necessarily my opinion. What I'm saying is that's the best answer I've received from asking the question. You know what I'm saying? That's the best answer I've gotten so far, because I've posed the question, because I'm a father and I have a daughter and she's only getting older. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So I want to know. Do you get what I'm saying? I could just be like, go ask your mum. But you get what I'm trying to say? Like, me and my daughter's relationship is better than that. Do you get what I'm saying? So I can't even just, I got to say something. I got to answer some kind of question, because she gets the mum thing. She gets how the woman works. Do you get me? But she's like, so if my mum has another baby, yeah, would you be the dad? I'm like, had that. You know what I'm saying? But she's like, well, like, why though? Why can't you just be that baby's dad? Though, you get what I'm trying to say? So she still needs to understand how I'm her dad. She's like, well, you chose to be my dad. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So she needs to understand how I am her dad. She obviously understands how I'm her dad, but she don't get how, like, it works. Like, she knows that her mum gave birth to her, and she knows that I'm her dad who's claimed, I'm the man who's come and said, I'm your daddy. You get it? That's all that it is to her. She's like, a man just got to come and say, I'm the daddy, for a dad to be the dad. That's all she get. You know what I'm saying? That's how she sees it. You get me? And I don't make sense, because when I'm trying to explain it to her, I can't think of a logical way to give it to her that she's going to be able to digest the information and be like, yeah, that makes sense. Do you get me? So I'm asking you lot to help me. Help me out.
I like that you said, she said, you know, if mum has another baby, are you going to be the dad? And you're like, I doubt it. Read some messages. Brianna, 80s baby, says, there's pressure on us to teach children sooner because they're overly exposed to too much. Good point as well. I think that's where part of the topics come from. Miss Milan, Miss Millie Rock, when is it the right time or right age to speak to kids about the reproductive system and sex?
I think a mixture of what Ashley and Chids have said. So I kind of think when you can start to see the changes, but then it's like you said, you know, some people develop really, really early and some people develop quite like late. So I think that because I think people start changing, that sounds really weird, people start developing between like year 6. Like year 6 is when it kind of starts. So I'd say between year 6 and year 8, in that time like frame, I think that's a good time to start, because in year 6, that's, I think, I'm not a doctor, I don't know, I didn't research this one either, but I think that's probably the earliest that you could start developing. Do you know? I think it's quite.
Wait, Mills, you didn't do your Google search today?
I didn't. I'm sorry, guys.
Mad thing.
I know.
But we move.
But I was on time. Made up for it. So, you know, I think if people develop below year 6, it's quite rare. I don't know, by my like knowledge. Do you know what I mean? So from there, obviously, then they're going into high school, where instead of now having the bunch of friends that they had in that school, they're now mixing with a wider range of people from different backgrounds, from other schools, who have got older siblings. Do you know what I mean? At the minute, like my son's like 5, but that's the only kid I've got. Do you know what I mean? He doesn't have an older like brother or sister to like look up to, and they're not coming to him telling him like little like sneaky facts or showing them a picture of like boobs on their like phone or whatever. My issue that I have, which I'm scared about, is that when my son is at the age where, you know, between year 6 and year 8, where I think it's the right time, do I tell him or does his dad tell him? Because I don't know about a boy. Obviously, I know about a boy. But do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, I've never been a boy. I don't know what happens. Like, obviously, boys don't have periods. So then what do you have instead? Do you know what I mean? Like, who tells him something? And then that's then now a conversation that I've got to have with his dad. Like, oh, I think you should give him the talk. And then is he going to turn around and be like, oh, you're his mum? Like, actually, I can tell you 100% that's what he's going to tell me. You're his mum and you need to tell him the conversation. Now I've got to go on Google and type in how to explain sex to a 10-year-old boy, and then be like, right, son, so what happens? Do you know what I mean? It's one of those things where there isn't really a right time, but in the world that we are in and the world that we live in, they have access to stuff. And the thing is, I won't give my son a phone until I think he's like halfway through year 6, going into year 7. So hopefully he won't have access to the internet. Obviously, like he can use my phone or whatever, but, you know, hopefully he won't have the access to that. And like none of his friends will be like, oh, guess what I saw? Do you know what I mean? We all like to think that. We all like to wish that. So it's then, you know, when he gets a phone, like, am I supposed to check his like search history? I don't know. But then, you know, boys like to, you know, and then do I just leave him to it? Who knows?
So definitely a lot in there. I know you said ideally, well, summing up, that is from the age or between year 6 and year 8, and also who tells the child, mum or dad. Read some of his messages quickly. Big Risk says, yo. DJ Empress says, social media shows kids too much. Brianna's 80s baby says, agreed and good question. I think talking about who should tell your son or children, mum or the dad. DJ Empress says, both parents are available. I feel both should tell the children. Also says, I feel just before secondary school, they should know, especially if going to a mixed school. And Brianna's 80s baby says, it's hard. Loudmouth Dom, who's been very quiet for some unknown reason. It's strange. I don't know what's going on here. What age or when's is a good time to talk about the reproductive system and sex with kids? That didn't sound right, did it? You know what I mean, okay? That sounded really wrong.
I think you're gonna have to reword that whole thing.
Yeah. When is the right time to talk to your children about sex and the reproductive system? There we go.
Yes. I think for me, you just got to play it by the child. Do you know what I mean? The level of maturity, and like as a parent, like you see the stages of development, don't you? But like even with my son, like I've always just kind of kept it real to an extent, but always gave kind of a very diluted version based on the age. You know, like I'm not gonna, like I've never turned around and like if my son said, "Oh, mum, where does babies come from?" when they were like 7 or 8, and been like, "Oh, they come out your bum," or do you know what I mean? Or do you know what I mean? Like, "Oh, the stork brings them," or whatever it is. Do you know what I mean? I'm just gonna say, obviously, the baby grows in mummy's belly, and then it comes out. Do you know what I mean? I'm not gonna tell him how it comes out because he's only 8, but we'll leave it at that, and that'll do for that age. Do you see what I'm saying? Now, 13 now, like with my son, I've got a 13-year-old freaking miserable teenager. But like, you know, like we talk openly, we talk real, do you know what I mean? Like, obviously I know what you're doing, yeah, but just know now I know you're doing it. I ain't changing your bed sheets. That's your responsibility to wash them, put them in the dryer, and change your bed. Do you see what I'm saying? And respect your kind of privacy. As well as though, it's like he's at an age where as a woman and a mum, like I have to teach him about boundaries. Do you see what I'm saying? And like when a woman says no and things like that. Now I would rather explain those things to my children than end up in a situation. Do you know what I mean? And I need to give like my partner will give the girls like a man's perspective, and I will give my son like a female's perspective. Do you see what I'm saying? Because what maybe his dad might say to him will be a lot different to what a woman actually thinks. Do you see what I'm saying? Because obviously men and women are different. But I just don't think there's no particular age, but I just don't believe in kind of lying to kids, because then I think then when you give them the truth, there's a bit of confusion all the time. So, you know, you just got to play it by your child. Like the parents know their own child, you know what I mean? So, you know, you kind of know to prep and prepare and things like that. And also like, you know, like bodies and stuff, like you have to teach them, especially with girls, if they're in primary school, like Chiddy's daughter, if you're the first one that starts having boobs sprouting, do you know what I mean? It instantly causes like an insecurity because everybody's still like not developing and you're there with little boobies. Do you know what I mean? When you get up in the morning, you've got to put deodorant on. So you have to kind of like build them and encourage them and prepare them for these changes and just reassure them, look, everybody's just going to go through it. Not at the same time, but at some point, do you know what I mean? They'll go through it.
Definitely some important facts in there. And in fact, Brianna 80s Baby says, yeah, that's an important one. I think talking about the boundaries with boys and girls or sons and daughters. She also says, I love that both perspectives are needed. And DJ Empress says, I feel boys are more forward. Now, I'm going to ask a question, actually. I'm going to make a statement and a question. You know, we're talking about social media and stuff and not giving our kids phones, but you know, like if you take a phone away, imagine when you were kids or we were younger, you take the phone away, let's go to the friend's house who has a phone or a computer or a tablet. Do you know what I mean? So how do you really kind of get around that? But also, I noticed that I think Dom said it and I think Milan said it, and I think Ashley touched on it as well. Who should tell the son and who should tell the daughter? Does it matter if it's from the mum or the dad? Chiz, I'll go to you first.
Obviously, I don't think it matters because there's going to be, it's down to circumstance. It might be that, you know, there might be a mother with her son and there's no males available to be able to speak to the son on that level. So she's going to have to explain it. Do you get me? Like, obviously, in my situation, I've got a daughter. I've got a brother. I've got uncles. Do you get me? Her dad's not around. So for her to get the male perspective side of things, she gets that from the males within my family because we're a close family. But I just personally don't think it actually really matters who. It's not down to gender. It depends. It's just on how you deliver it. On how, obviously, a woman's not always going to be able to tell a man about being a man, because that's impossible. I've got you know, my one good friend, she's got a son who's the same age as my daughter, and it's just her and him. So she's had to deliver that information to him. Do you get me? So she's done a little bit of research or whatever and that. And, you know, obviously, honestly tried to answer any questions that he has. And she's explained to him, you know, you're a man, you've got certain things, and it is different from a woman. And then teaching him about boundaries and teaching him, like, telling him how he may feel. But a woman's never going to 100% know. He's just going to discover that as he gets older. So I don't think it actually comes down to gender when you on who's telling the child, because sometimes that can't be helped. But if I would say if in a boy's case, if there was, you know, male influence around him and you felt comfortable enough to say to that person, can you, you know, speak to him about certain things, then that's amazing. And the same goes for a girl as well. Do you get me? Because there's single dads out there who are raising young women. Do you know what I mean? So it goes hand in hand. It's just all about influence and who you have around you. So yeah, that's my take on that.
Love that. Ash, before I come over to you, would you read some of these messages quickly? DJ Empress says they kind of pieced it together. Am I wrong? And Brianna 80s baby says so true. They need to be prepared. And she also says very good points made, referring to you, Chids. Ash, do you agree with what Chids is saying? Do you think?
Yeah, I think what you said is basically spot on, man. I think it doesn't matter who it is. I think it matters. I mean, it doesn't matter which parent it is. You get what I'm saying? I just think it's essential that the first person who gives you the information that you need to know about that stuff is someone who loves you, because you're going to get that information regardless. You get me? And that's the point. Like, it's better that the parent, where whoever it is, mum or dad, gives you that information safely and unbiased. You get me? Because you're going to get that information anyway. And when you hit school, there's going to be like, you know what I'm saying? You're going to get man trying to move to you, or you're going to get girls trying to move to you, whatever it is. And it's going to be biased. They're going to have intention. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So they're going to give you information based on what they want from you. You get me? And that's something that you have to teach your kids regardless. You know what I mean? So I just think that it's not really as important of who does it, but it's important that it gets done. Do you get me? And it gets done. That's why I'm saying when is the right time, because I want to be the first person to explain that. Do you get what I'm saying? I don't want someone else to come and give my child false information and make her feel like this is what it is when it's not that. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's not. So that's the reason why I asked the question, because I know she's gonna get that information. Do you get what I'm saying? But it's just about when she hit. You know, like when you teach your child something and then someone else teaches them different. They're like, nah, my mum didn't say that. My mum said this. Do you get what I'm saying? And that's what I need to be in place. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, nah, I don't believe what you're saying. My dad told me this already. Do you get what I'm saying? So that's my thing.
Definitely. Brianna's A baby says very true. Ginger Press says yes. Ash and claps as well. Millie Rock, Millie Rock. Do you agree with that? Actually, is there anything to even disagree with there? To be fair,
true talk.
No, I definitely think it depends on like circumstances. Obviously, if there's only one parent around, whether that's the mum or dad, you know, it has to be that person. But I think when both parents are involved, I don't know. I just think with us having a son, the guy should say. Obviously, I will say, like, you know, we'll have the talk as well. But, you know, I think that obviously his dad could tell him a lot, like, more than I can, because he's a guy. But while everyone was talking, I was sitting there and I was thinking, do you know what? I've got a very bad memory. Like, ask me what I had for dinner. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? My memory's very, very, very bad. But I don't remember having the talk with my mum. Like, I don't remember at all. Like, I don't know. I remember when I started my period, I'm sure I was like in year 8 or something. I was a late bloomer. And literally, sorry guys, went toilet and I was like, I didn't know what it was. I was just like, what the fuck? And literally my mum just came in, handed me a pad and a tampon and was like, you started your period. I was like, great. And I'm literally holding these two things like, okay, what do I do with it? Like, I think she just expected me to know what to do. And I didn't. I was just like, okay. But then, yeah, after that, she was just, I don't know. I remember her like hugging me and stuff and being like, oh, you've started your period. Well done. Like, you're a woman now. And then that's about it. I don't remember having this. I don't remember like sitting there awkwardly thinking like, why are you telling me? Do you know what I mean? But then, I don't know whether she did or she didn't. You know, I didn't end up being like a hoe or anything, and I did all right for myself. Do you know what I mean? But it's just, and I've also been thinking. Sorry, I'm like mixing up my things, but been thinking about what Ashley said. So like, if my son was 8, and then was like to me, you know, where the babies come from, you know, if my dad has another baby, because at the minute, like I've said, he's 5 and he thinks that kids come from eBay. Probably because I keep telling him that if he's naughty, I'm going to send him back. I have the receipt. But I don't think he's asked me he has asked me for brother or sister. And again, I just told him that eBay was out of stock. But as he gets older, you know, if he asked me where do babies come from or why does he not have a brother or something like that, do you know what I mean? Like, what would I say? Like, I don't know. Because it's one of those things, you know, when someone goes by, I don't know what to say. If two people like, love each other and they're blessed with a baby, and then that's the mum and that's the dad, your child will turn around and be like, you don't love my mum then, or you don't love my dad, because obviously you two are not now together and you don't have another kid. So they'll be like, you don't love, and it's like, well, no, I do love your mum, because you're not going to be like, well, no, I don't love your mum, or I don't love your dad, are you? Do you know what I mean? So then it's like, then where do you go from there? And then you'll just both start looking at each other like, okay, cool, sweet. Ask your mum, ask your dad, like, ask your nan, I don't know. Do you know what I mean? So it's hard. It really is hard. But I'm going to keep like running with the eBay story for as long as I can, until hopefully he's like 16, maybe.
Love that. And you know what I like about it as well? As I always say, the innocence of kids is such a beautiful thing, isn't it? So when they're so innocent, it's so beautiful. I read somebody's messages quickly. Brianna's 80 baby says, OMG, neither do I. Talking about having a talk with mum in regards to periods and stuff. Kaiser Soze says, my beautiful brothers and sisters, Allah bless you all, amen. And he says, everyone's got a cheeky grin on their faces, especially Ashley. What have I missed? He also says, tell them babies come from a tropical fruit called a panani. The look on Chili's face is like, wow. Brianna's 80 baby says, my 4-year-old daughter asked me, that was pressure. And he also says about eBay as well. Yeah, that is pressure. I can agree with that one. Loudmouth Dom, before I go to you, Dom, before I even ask a question, because I know you've actually really answered it about both parents, and I think you actually made a really good point in terms of having perspective on both sides. So yes, it may be good that you might have if you have a son, the dad talks to the son, but I think, as Dom said, rightly so, the perspective from a woman as well. And actually, even on that, I think, I know Dom actually mentioned boundaries, but do we have the same energy for the daughters as well about boundaries? Boundaries for themselves and what they do, as well as, you know, when we told, as growing up, always told as boys never to hit a woman. Are we teaching that to our daughters as well? Dom, I put that to you. I know there's a lot in there.
Yeah. No, like I said before, like for me, I'm a true believer it's best to get both perspectives. Do you see what I'm saying? Because only for me, I could explain to my daughters, you know, that a man should respect you, a man should treat you a certain way, you know, or, you know, I might say, you know, if a boy's being too nice, then, you get me, don't take anything he says as gospel, he's just trying to use you. Whereas I think a dad explaining it and coming from a man's perspective is a lot clearer and a lot more accurate to the truth, so she can relate to it a bit more. Do you know what I mean? Whereas giving that talk woman to woman, it probably wouldn't have the same depth or the same relevance as, you know, the dad explaining. And like same for like you know, explaining things like I'll explain puberty for a man and a woman, and we both will explain puberty for a man and a woman. Do you see what I'm saying? Because it's like I got one son and I got 3 daughters, so I have to explain to my son about periods. Do you know what I mean? He's in the house with a bag of women. So it's like if he's in the house one day waiting for the girls after school because he's home first, and I'm running late from work, and then one of the girls, you know, has a period, or do you see what I'm saying, or something, at least my son has an idea, do you know what I mean, or knows to go and get something from the bathroom, where he might say, okay, I think this is this, so I'm going to talk to mum, but I think you need to do this right now, and hands her a sanitary towel or something. Do you know what I mean? And I think as a parent, you just prepare your kids to the fullest with as much knowledge and preparation for any situation, you know, and any kind of precaution in life. So, you know, you do. And sometimes, like, the way I'll explain a certain situation is kind of like, oh, I've thought of it, you know, so I've been able to come up with the best kind of solution and the best way to word it when you're talking to the kids, because the hardest thing is getting their attention, do you get me, and getting the information to resonate. So when you're not with them and they're working independently, they have the knowledge there to know what to do, to know like right from wrong, etc. I'm not sure I answered all of your question there, because I think, and if I went off on a tangent.
No, it was good. It was good. Before I forget, Ash, Big Risk says add me. So I think he wants to jump in to the live. Guys, if you want to jump into the live, just let us know. Brianna's 80s baby said that says thoughts, very true. Kaiser's also says very true. And Brianna's 80s baby says yes, he's prepared. Actually, I do like that Dobby saying about him being prepared. That's excellent. I mean, you can't even fault that. I mean, that's knowledge is power in it, as they say. I did have one challenge though. So, you know, you mentioned about your daughters, saying about how a man should treat your daughters. And that was part of my question beforehand. Are we teaching our daughters on how they should treat men and others as well?
Yeah.
Can I just jump in on that quickly? I don't have much of an opinion, but I don't think it's something. I can't say because I'm not a girl, yeah, but I've got sisters in it, and I've got aunties in it, and I've got bare women around me in it. And I never hear them talk about how to treat a man, ever. I've never heard that conversation. Maybe they have it when I'm not there. You get what I'm trying to say? You get me? I'm not going to say they're amazing to me. The women in my life they treat me with love, care, compassion, all of that, yeah. But I'm saying, I feel like mums, they try to teach boys how to treat women, which is important, yeah. But I feel like it's just as important to teach girls how to treat men as to treat a boy or treat a man as well. But I don't feel like it's common practice as much. You get me?
Can I just say there, Ash, in terms of women teaching their daughters, you know, how to treat a man, it kind with explaining like a relationship, and because you kind of explain the difference between a good man and a bad man, and what's acceptable as a woman, what's not acceptable, and you always say like in vice versa as well. Do you know what I mean? Because there's also female predators, or there's also, you know, female abusers. There's not as much awareness. Do you see what I'm saying? But also, like, you know, I have to make my son aware of that, as well as have to make my daughters aware of that. I think the information has to go both ways for everything in order for a child to get a picture, because you always paint a picture, a scenario for them to go away with when you're feeding them any form of education. Do you know what I mean? So they kind of know the situation if they're in the situation, if that makes sense.
It makes lots of sense. I'm going to read one of these messages. This one's from Big Risk. I like this one. Big Risk says, leading by example works well. Children will learn these things if both parents treat them well. The parents set the bar. I like that. The parents do set the bar, indeed. And Brianna's 80s baby says, I agree, it should go both ways. Chids, I'm gonna say my question again, in terms of, again, as boys we're always told, you should never hit a woman, for example. Again, I know it's not sex specifically, but do you think, or should we be teaching our daughters the same thing about men?
Sorry, I struggled to unmute myself then. Yeah, definitely. You have to keep the same energy, because it's not just in regards to to boys. Like my daughter, she's strong. She's, you know, big for age. She punched up a couple of boys in school and that. And felt no way about it. And obviously, you know, the reasons as to behind it. I'm not saying she just goes around punching at boys and whatever, but if she feels violated or she feels like that boy is disrespected her, same way for a girl, she'll punch him up if she feels that they deserve it. But what I have explained to her in regards to, you know, your actions towards a man, like the same way is if a boy hits a girl, so everyone goes mad. You shouldn't hit her because she's a girl. But I have told the same way, you as a girl shouldn't go and box up a man. Because if that man then turns around and boxes you up, yeah, it's hard to find the common ground. You can't say, that a girl can hit a boy just because he can't hit her back. That's mad. I've always given her that the notion that if you're big enough to give it, yeah, you're big enough to take it. If the boy like I had a parent come to me before and say, you know, your daughter boxed at my son, mashed up his face and everything. Mad thing. I spoke to her and I said to her, well, did he hit you? She said, no, he just annoyed me and he upset me. So I hit him. And I said, but that's mad, because if it was the other way round, it would have been crazy. So you've got no right in putting your hands on a man. And we also had like this one discussion here and a little friends where they were talking and whatever and stuff. And the one child was like, yeah, and I told this boy, and this is 12-year-olds. I think the girl she's a little bit older, I think she was 13. And she was like, yeah, and I told the boy that we can kiss, and I said we can do, but I'm not going to do that. And I had to jump in. I don't know what it was. I just had to jump in. And I said, but you can't do that to that boy. You can't tell him, yeah, we're going to kiss, so we're going to hold hands, and you're my little boyfriend, and you're just leading him on. You're leading him on at this age. That's crazy, because he's taking your words as gospel, and he's thinking, yeah, she's my little girlfriend now, so I can kiss her. So when he turns around and tries to kiss you and you don't want it, what are you going to do then? Because you've already given him that information. And then I had to sit down and explain to my daughter, you can't lead boys on. You can't do that, because it can get crazy. Do you get me? You have to explain these things, because girls can be mad. Do you get me? Like, you know, I was a young girl once, and sometimes I look back and I think, it's boys have got hormones too. They got feelings too. They're gonna want to do certain things too. And if you're doing certain things and presenting yourself a certain way and giving them certain information, they're gonna go off that information. They're not hearing no. They're hearing, yeah, she was on it. Do you get me? And then it can so easily go left. So you have to give them this information about their body parts. Your body parts belong to you and you only. And, you know, you have to give them that information, because I think it's very important. They have to be in tune with their bodies and know how certain things feel and how they're going to feel and the things that they're going to experience, because you have to prep them, because you know, whether we like it or not, our children one day are going to have sex. They're going to do that. They're going to have these feelings. They're going to want to do certain things, and we have to prepare them so that they make the right choice and the right decision at the right time.
Yeah, definitely. I can't agree any more than what you said there, man. There's a lot in there, and I would clap for you right now, but I'm scrolling through the Instagram. But yeah, there's a lot in there.
Show.
One thing I wanted to say before you moved on, Stick, is, you know, when you said, you know, like boys are always taught like, don't hit a girl. And you know, when I was saying like about both perspectives, like my son, his dad will say, don't hit a girl. But me as a mum, I say, listen, if she's big enough to take it, you know what I mean? So, you better back that bitch. Do you know what I mean? Because why is she putting her hands on my son? Whereas his dad is obviously coming from a male's perspective, like, don't put your hands on a girl, son, and whoa. But at least he's better prepared to assess the situation, do you get me? Because, like, if some big bitch comes and thumbs down my son, he better know, do you know what I mean? He better clap her back. Do you see what I'm saying, though?
Yeah, but then what about she's small, though? Because my thing is, if you're small...
You know, to gauge it, not to hit a girl.
No, wait. But the thing is, though, I don't think, right?
If she's big enough, to get me.
Again, but then when I would base it on someone's size, if your hands are quick enough to hit somebody, yeah, you should be prepared for someone to hit you back.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should be prepared. So if you're fast, say you're fast and go hit someone that's bigger than you, be prepared for that person to hit you back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Message quickly. Princess Kirsten X says, absolutely, a woman shouldn't hit a man either. Brianna Zabin says, that's what my mum taught me. Big Risk says, the woman will always be seen as the most defenseless between man and women, or at least that's how it should be. Also says, it's like if you saw two people fighting and wanted to help, you would help in favour of the weaker one that is losing. Yeah, true. In fact, on that, right, in terms of what Big Risk is saying now, it's like if you see a fight on YouTube or insult, someone says you something from Worldstar. If it's a man hitting a woman, like, people will jump in quickly and just try and stop it. But if it's a woman hitting a man, everyone's got their phones out recording it. Do you know what I mean? It's madness. It's absolute madness. Anyone else got anything else on this topic to say before we move on to the next one?
I just wanted to say, like, so my son's 5. Obviously, I keep saying obviously, because he is. But I've told him already, because obviously he is now in school. Do you know what I mean? He's in year 1. And the tight group of friends that he has, they're all like boys. So they play fight, they're rolling around, punching each other, whatever. Pamela, it's a joke. I'm like, get up off the floor, you're in your school uniform, in your new kickers I just bought you, and they're now stuck, but that's a whole different situation. Anyway, so, but what I've told him is, even at this age, I've said to him, so obviously, if he can tell the situation, and obviously saying this to a 5-year-old is a bit like, whoa. But I said to him, if you and the other person who is your like friend know that it's a game and it's a play fight, cool. When one of you then wants to stop, you stop. End of. If you're in the playground and a boy or a girl is annoying you, is irritating you, if a boy or a girl hits you, to be honest, I did say to him, if it was a boy, if he hits you first, you hit him back. Like, I'm not having that. I'm not going to come to the school and you have a black eye and the other boy's over there looking all fly and shit. No, you better punch him back. But if it's a girl, I've told him, like, restrain her. Obviously, I didn't say restrain her, but I just said to him, like, hold her away from you. Like, you can't hit her. You just hold her away from you. Depending on where you are, if there's a teacher near, obviously I'm talking now in a school environment, you have to tell your teacher if that happens. Whether it's a boy or a girl, you need to tell the teacher that this person has hit you. You know, if my son was older now, you know, I don't know when kids fight. But for argument's sake, let's say he's 16. Cool. I'll be telling him the same thing, but I won't be telling him to go to a teacher, but the same thing. You know what I mean? If a girl hits you, you just restrain her. You just hold her back. Like, you don't hit her. You just restrain her. Do you know what I mean? Because although I said, I think in a previous live, yeah, cool. How I see it, if a man is fighting a man and a girl is fighting a girl, cool. But if a man is fighting a girl, if she hit him first, he should be allowed to box her, because at the end of the day, she was big enough and man enough to hit him. What did you think was going to happen? He was going to go, oh, it's all right, babe. No, it's not going to happen. So then don't be like shocked when he turns around and hits like you. You know, but that's what I've told my son from like now. If a girl hits you and it's not in a play fight type of way, and you know you've hit her back and she's not said stop and whatever, but if she hits you and it's serious, hold her back. Like, you need to just hold her, because it's not that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but saying that though, right? So not that I disagree, but I do disagree in some sense, because does that mean we're allowing girls to get away with hitting men because they're not going to get hit back?
No, no.
Because if we're saying,
I don't have a daughter, so I can't tell my daughter don't hit boys.
No, what I mean is,
got a son, so I need to prepare him for girls whose parents haven't told their daughter nothing. Do you know what I mean? I've got to prepare him for every aspect of life. So that's why I'm saying, if a girl hits you, You just gotta, do you know what I mean? Because there are some parents out there who don't think about that. Do you know what I mean? All they've told their kids is, sex is this, that's what happens. And they've just left it at that. They haven't spoke to their kids about like respect and like loyalty and boundaries and do you know what I mean? They haven't spoken to their kids about that. They just think talking about sex is literally sex and that is it. Done. Conversation over. Do you know what I mean? That's why there's people now, not just that, you know, people have their own issues and stuff, but, you know, because how many of us on here can say that their parents, whether it was their like, mum or their dad or, you know, that figure in their life, it was like a grandma, a granddad, auntie, uncle, which one of you lot, which one of your peers told you, like, oh, obviously I'm a girl, don't hit a boy? Like for you lot, which one of your told you don't hit a girl? My mum's never told me don't hit a boy. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I definitely hear that. So before I go on to the next topic, I'm going to quickly read.
That's my biggest. That's my biggest issue. Like, I always tell my little sister. I told her from the jump, don't hit no boy, because if a boy bangs you in your face, it's going to be different for you. So I told her from the jump, please, like, try to be as ladylike as you can. If man violate you, holler me. Man will come to your school, come anywhere. If you call me, I'll come. Please don't put yourself in a position where you're going to be fighting a man. Please. You get me? But they need to be taught that, fam. Because some girls can fight a man. But most girls can't. You know what I'm saying? Some girls can fight a man. And some girls will punch up certain man. Man know that. But some girls can't, fam. And then you're going to put them in a situation where they feel like they can defend themselves and run their mouth and chat shit and call a man a pussy and dickhead and this and that and push man in their face. And I've seen some little girls do some wicked things, fam. Do you get it? But it's like, rah, if a man lays a hot bang in your face now and knocks you out now, you're going to be like, he's evil. Do you get what I'm saying? So,
but that's what it is. Children live what they learn, innit? So if the child's not receiving that information and they think it's okay to just, if you're a girl, you bang up a man the same way, that's mad. Like, I was lucky enough I was brought up by real queens, you get me, who told me about those things. My grandmother always told me, my aunties always said to me, don't bang up a man, you know, don't slap a man up. I remember the first time I boxed the boy in his face. My grandmother said to me, he should have turned around and boxed you back because you had no business in putting your hands on that child. And matter of fact, I'm going to box you same way. And she did. Do you get me? Because she said you shouldn't be doing that. So I think if the children definitely live what they learn. So that same information, I pass that down to my daughter because it's being, you know, it's moral, isn't it? You just don't do those things. So it is definitely about down to how you teach your children and what you show them, because you have to remember they are copying, they are imitating, they're doing everything that you're doing. And sometimes, you know, even me, I've had to watch myself and think, oh, don't you get me? Let me just not speak like that. Let me not just do that because she's watching me. You think they're not listening, you think they're not watching, when, you know, telling certain stories to your friends or whatever, you have to be vigilant about what you're saying and what you're doing around your kids.
You know, I could say on that one is gold granny. Granny was right. Brianna's baby says, I understand both perspectives. Defend yourself regardless versus restrain the girl instead. Also says, I hear that. Don't put them in that predicament. Ideally, yes, children definitely live what they learn. Now, we've got less than 10 minutes, guys. Less than 10 minutes to go. So quickly flip over to the second topic, which was, I forgot what the topic was now. If you're on a break, can you tease other people, basically? Is it okay to be romantic with someone when you're on a break? So for those of you who used to watch Friends, remember Rachel and Ross went on a break and Ross did his little thing with the, you know, is it okay? Or is it an issue? Chiz, I'm going to start with you first of all. Is it okay?
Sorry, I'm having a lot of technical difficulties tonight. It's a madness, isn't it, really? Because obviously, if you're on a break with that person, you're not. My personal view is you're not really going to be on a break to specifically go out and be romantically or sexually involved with someone else. So you really, obviously, it depends on what you're on a break for. For me, a break is you're on a break for space or time or just or distance away from each other. You're not on a break to go and just say, yeah, I'm on a break, so I'm just going to go back to someone else. what's the point? Then you might as well just not be together, innit? Because obviously the foundation of your relationship is not strong enough to withhold like something as simple as just time and space. So why would you? I know shit happens, but why would you go and sleep with somebody just because you're on a break? Just end the relationship, innit, and go do your thing. But that's what I would say.
Big Risk says a break is the end. Beyond Baby says that's why I don't do breaks. It gets messy. Loudmouth Dom Dom, if you're on a break, is it okay to go and do other things?
Absolutely not. I mean, you know, you could be on a break, you sleep with the wrong person, and bam, I had a break, baby. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's the end of the relationship automatically. Do you see what I'm saying? You can't go back to your man with some next dude's kids and be like, okay, we're off a break now. Do you see what I'm saying? And vice versa. So no, don't have a break. Just finish. You need a break because they're pissing you off. They do your head in. You can't stand their face. You want them out of your face. So the best thing to do is just say, listen, it's not meant to be. If it's meant to be, we'll come back again another time. Do you know what I mean? But right now, it's just not the time.
So basically,
something miserable.
So basically, there's no break. It's like you're together or you're not. Yeah, essentially. Yeah. Brianna's Baby says some people are not honest about what they want, and this is exactly Mr. True Talk. Is it okay to be romantic with someone whilst on a break?
This is my perspective, yeah. If you tell me you want a break, yeah, you're mad, innit? I'm done. Like, you can tell me you want a break, so you're telling me it's different if you, because it's the words, innit? It's language, innit? If you say to someone, I need space, like, I don't want to talk to you for a couple of days, like, leave me alone, innit? Like, that's calm. I can do that. I can work with that. You have to talk to me. You get me? Take your time. Holler at me in a couple of days, whatever, fam. Or holler at me in a week, whatever. You tell me I want to break. I want to break. I want to have a break. You're mad. You're mad. Don't ask me about nothing. If you told me you want a break from me, don't ask me about nothing, fam. Don't ask me about where I was yesterday, what I was doing, who I was with. Get me? Don't ask me nothing, because you chose to cut me off at this point and then bring me back at the next point. Like you can pause me like I'm PlayStation. You're mad, fam. No way. I don't think. But obviously, if you want to break from someone like that, then obviously means you don't want it. The relationship isn't working, so you just want to not do it, innit? I don't think breaking up with having a break with the intention to get back with them, I think that's so selfish, bro. And I think that's just like playing with someone's feelings, playing with someone's emotions, fucking with their head. You can't break up with someone and want to be with them and want to get back at them and still be saying where you going, what you doing, who you with. That's mad, bro. That's like some manipulation thing. I think it's mad. I think it's mad. You get me? I wouldn't advise no one to do that to me. That's all I'm saying.
So basically, if it's a break, it's done. I'm doing whatever. None of your business. We've got less than 5 more minutes left to go. Brianna's Baby says, I'm dying. Big Risk says 100% fist emoji. And also says, it's selfish. Princess Kirsty NX, says, for me, from the word break, it's about terms and conditions. A healthy relationship has boundaries and honors both parties. What is the aim of this break? Milan, Millie Rock, if you want a break, is it okay or not okay to be romantic with somebody else?
Do you know what? I swear, me and Ashley are in the same mind, you know? Like, we share, like, half a brain. Because as soon as I saw this topic, I thought, huh? You a break. Like, you want a break. All right, cool. We want a break, innit? But in that break, that means go on like you don't know me, innit? Because we're on a break. Don't call me, don't text me, don't ask me shit. Don't watch my social media. Don't go asking my friends about me. Because we're on a break, innit? Act like you don't know me. That you do you, I do me. And when you want to, fix the break, put tape round it, hold on me, innit? Like, that's all just stupid. You're setting yourself up to, like, fail. Like, I'm not saying, like, you know, I'm not a cheater. I've never cheated on anybody in my life. But just the fact that you said a break, if I now did go out and decide to do something, what do you mean? You told me we was on a break. What? I had to sit in my house with my legs crossed feeling all type of feelings because you wanted a break. No, tell me you want space. You want space? You want space because no. Don't just say you want space. Because again, you've left me in la la land. Like, okay, cool, I'm waiting. You know, the bus ain't come yet. We're having space. What are we doing in space? Do you know what I mean? Like, to me, if you're adults, if you're gonna work out your relationship, that is what you do as adults. You sit down and you talk about what is wrong in the relationship. If someone has a jealousy problem, cool, you talk about it. You figure out how to make them not feel like jealous. If they say, you know, every now and then you turn around and tell me like a white lie, but it's irrelevant. You should have just said that in the beginning, and you're like, do you know what, babe? I get that. Work on it. Don't tell me you're on a break, because I'm not on a break. We ain't talking. So we're not discussing the issues that we have in our relationship. You're doing you, I'm doing me. Then we come back, we come back and it just works. Like, huh? Don't get it. But yeah, so basically, no, it's not. That was the answer to your question. No. 100%.
So the long short of it is, ain't no one doing breaks. Guys, it's almost a time to wrap up. Well, I say almost time. It's time to wrap up because the live is almost about to cut off. So we just say our goodbyes. So firstly, thank you for those that have tuned in. Thank you for those that are on the live. Don't forget, we're back next week, Wednesday at 10 o'clock. If you're watching on YouTube, like, share, and subscribe.
All of that.
Tell a friend, all of that. Hold on, a couple more ones quickly. Gardens Avery says yes, agreed, sent up to fail. Big Vic says laughs. Princess Kirsty NX says a break is a buzzword, but like most things, it means different things for different dynamics. What's most important is to outline what this word break means to both parties. Good point. But yes, so guys, I think it's time to say our goodbyes. So thank you to everyone.
Thank you for coming, guys. It's been a pleasure. Peace out, all of y'all.
So we'll see you all next week. Goodbye.
Bye.
Shoot.